Namo Phat. Good morning. Thank you for joining me for our daily practice check-in. Listen, listen, listen. This beautiful sound calls us back to our true home. The fifth mindfulness training. Aware of the suffering caused by unmindful consumption, I vow to cultivate good health, both physical and mental, for myself, my family, and my society, by practicing mindful eating, drinking, and consuming. I will ingest only items that preserve peace, well-being, and joy in my body, in my consciousness, and in the collective body and consciousness of my family and society. I'm determined not to use alcohol or any other item that contain toxins, such as certain TV programs, magazines, books, films, and conversations. I'm aware that to damage my body or my consciousness with these poisons is to betray my ancestors, my parents, my society, and future generations. I will work to transform violence, fear, anger, and confusion in myself and in society by practicing a diet for myself and for society. I understand that a proper diet is crucial for self-transformation and the transformation of society. Our Dharma lesson today is beginning chapter 2 of Ajahn Thiradhammo's book, Working with the Five Hindrances, on sensual desire. Quote, "Just as, Brahman, if there is a pot of water mixed with orange, yellow, indigo, or crimson dye, and a man with good sight should consider his own facial image in it, he could not recognize nor see it as it really is. So too, when someone abides with their mind pervaded with sensual lust, overcome with sensual lust." End quote. The first of the five hindrances is sensual desire. I wonder why the Buddha started with a hot topic like that. He could perhaps have started more coolly with one like doubt. I don't wish to second guess the Buddha, but my answer would be that the topic of sensual desire is the most important one in spiritual practice. Basically, it is preoccupation with desires of the sensual realm which distracts us from accessing the more subtle spiritual experiences. Also, sensual desire is the only hindrance which comes close to being pleasant, although Hansen points out its inherent suffering. Pursuing sensual desires, as long as it is done legally, is not criticized by society. In fact, the satisfying of sensual desires is the principal goal in life for many people. I think I should be a little careful of what I say here in order to be able to explain sensual desire without stirring up the reader's desires. That is, to make sense of sensual desire without the desires. And that is really the chief issue regarding sensual desire, since we all have sensual impressions of various kinds and in varying degrees in the course of ordinary life. How can we relate to them without their becoming a hindrance, obsession, or addiction? Also, I would say that for many people, it is often quite difficult to engage with the subject due to our ambiguous love-hate relationship with sensual desire. On the one hand, we all love the enjoyment of sensory gratification. Many of us also know the frustration and disappointment, which are the other side of the story of pursuing sensual desires, and we usually hate to be a slave to them. However, it's necessary to understand these very influential forces in our life. Otherwise, we can be continually hijacked by them. The Buddha had a very specific perspective on sensual desire. The Pali term used is Kamachanda. Kama literally means sensual pleasure or sensuality. The best translation of chanda is desire, but it also has the meaning of wanting, wishing, intention, will. In various places in the teachings, the more dynamic cousin of desire, raga, lust or passion, replaces it. Thus, lust for sense pleasures, kama raga, is the fourth of the 10 fetters, samyajana, binding beings to the cycles of rebirth, and the first of the underlying dispositions, anusaya. The term kamachanda would more correctly mean desire for sensual pleasure, often shortened to sensual desire. So there are two parts to the topic, sensual pleasures and the desire or lust which can arise with regard to them. May all beings be well. May all beings be happy. May all beings be peaceful. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for joining me this morning.